The wasteland can be rough and unforgiving. Sometimes you just need a quiet place to settle down and relax after a long day. What better place to find a calm, secluded spot for your next camp than along the edge of the map? I walked along the entire outside edge to find my favorite locations for you to try. Hey, I'm Fuzzbrain, and here are my top 10 locations for living on the edge of the map. Alright, so our first location is going to be the very top northwest corner of the map, just north of the West Virginia Lumber Company. There's a decent sized pad for you to build on, and it's right next to the river, so you can do a little bit of fishing, maybe do some kind of cool camps and incorporate the water. There's no enemies, foot traffic, or really anyone to bother you while you're here, and it has a really good mix of ambient audio too, which I think is really underrated. Give this a listen. The border fence is right there if you'd like to incorporate that into your camp too, and there's a ton of trees around if you'd want to use those. If you have any water-based decorations to use, like boats or piers or anything like that, this would be a great spot for those. Otherwise, I think a cabin could work really well here, or a fishing hut. Overall, it's a really cool spot, and I hope you give it a shot. Our second location is in the northern edge of the Savage Divide, just north of Knife Edge and northeast of Crater. There's a beautiful little flat area back here in the forest that I think would be perfect for a camp. Nothing will really bother you out here, there's no enemies, you're very close to Crater, which is great, and you have some gorgeous mountain views too. The large flat build area is perfect for basically any kind of camp, but what I would do is probably something like a campsite, a cabin, or maybe something like a raider outpost. I also do love the ambient audio here as well, so give this one a listen to. Alright, so for our third camp, we're going to stick to the Savage Divide and go all the way up to the northeast corner, just south of Point Repose. There's a beautiful alpine lake tucked away in the mountains here that would be perfect for your next camp. Point Repose is on the far side of the lake, so you don't really have to worry about anything or anyone coming over to get you. The views and vibes of this location are absolutely stunning. There's a ton of nature you can incorporate into your camp, as well as a little canoe over here if you want. A lakeside camp would typically lend itself to something like a small fishing shack, even maybe a normal house, and potentially a cabin as well. So if you're looking for a waterside build, add this one to your list. Let's head south to our next location in the Murky Mire. You'll find this spot just east of Thunder Mountain Energy Plant. Head along the water's edge until you find this nice little spot here next to the map edge. I love this spot because I think the Mire has the best vibes of any region in the game. Plus, you're right on the water for some great fishing. The natural beauty is immaculate here too. The trees are gorgeous and they add a lot to your camp. The ambiance is great too. As you can imagine, a fishing dock would work really well here, but we're also in cryptid territory, so why not do like a cryptid hunter shack? Plus, I don't see people building over here too often, so it'll always be yours. Alright, we're going to stick around in the Mire for this next camp and head east of Abandoned Waste Dump, all the way to the edge of the map till we find this nice little open area. The ground here is fairly flat, or at least flat enough. The big clearing is a great spot for any type of camp, but there's also trees around that you can use as well if you'd like. This is one of the more isolated camp locations. There aren't really any enemies around, and if you turn off your icon, no one will ever be able to find you. Plus, this little stump has 3 strangler pod spawn points, which I thought was kind of interesting. I think this location could be really cool as like a cultist camp, or maybe even like a scavenger shack, something like that. Overall, a really cool little area that I hope you dig too. Before we move on to our next camp, I just want to ask that if you dig this video and enjoy my content, please consider dropping a like, adding a comment, or even subscribing. It would really help out the channel, and you'd be forever cool in my book. The 6th camp features our only cranberry bog location. Just south of Overgrown Sundew Grove, this location is one of the flattest on this list. Even though you're at the most southern edge of the map, you'll probably get a lot more action than any other location. But you also get great views of the wildlife and natural beauty of this area. You're far enough away from the Fisher site, you won't have to worry about getting nuked or attacked by the Scorchbeast Queen. There are a lot of cool camps you could probably put in this location, but I would love to see like a Brotherhood of Steel outpost, maybe a Responders camp, or even like an abandoned house. This location won't be for everybody, but what is? Alright, up next we're going to head to Skyline Valley, basically the furthest south you can go. From Camp Liberty, head southeast and start walking all the way until you get to the corner of the map. This spot is probably the most secluded location you can have on the entire map. The views are absolutely gorgeous, and the really weird thing about this area is that there's no ambient sound, like, at all. The terrain is relatively flat, or it's flat enough to use it for any type of camp really, and you can also incorporate the trees and the fencing as well. This could be an interesting location for like a flower shop or a secluded cabin. Overall though, a really weird and interesting location to build at, so give it a shot. We're going to stay in Skyline Valley for this next one and head south of Slumber Motel. Head up the hill towards this rocky outcrop where you can place your camp module. This location at the southern edge of Skyline Valley is also dead silent. There's no ambient noise, which is weird, but honestly, this might be the best view in the game. Incorporate or build on top of the rocks if you want, but because of the view, I would say you could probably do like a modern build here. I think that'd look kind of interesting. Also either like a flower shop, garden, or like a campsite too. This site might be challenging for beginners, but I'd encourage you to give it a shot. Alright, up next is our only ash heap location. Head west of Hornwright testing site number 2 until you find this kind of nice little flat green area. What I love about this spot is it's actually pretty flat and it runs up against 2 different regions. So you have a little bit of forest and you have a little bit of ash heap. The large flat area is great for a lot of different types of builds. You could do like a standard house, even maybe like a mining facility or some sort of industrial building as well. You guys know I love the ash heap, so I may be giving this one a go soon. For our final camp, we're going to loop all the way back around to the forest and head up the very southern edge of the map near the river. From Camden Park, head south along the river until you hit the edge of the map. While this may not be the flattest location, you can use the rocky outcrop for a bunch of different things. The river, as always, produces really nice chill vibes, some really good ambient noise, and of course, all the fishing you could ever want. Like our other water-adjacent camps, this could be a really nice boat dock, fishing spot, or even maybe like a nice little campsite. I do occasionally see some people build down here, so maybe I'll see yours next. So there you have it, my 10 favorite spots on the edge of the map. What spots did I leave out? Have you built in any of these locations before? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.